Welcome to New Stripe City, a podcast for diehard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie. Today, my co-host G isn't going to join us because she has a prior engagement. So we're just going to talk about a few things here pertaining to the Bengals. As you guys know, we're going to go ahead and do the whole public aspect of the show. So make sure that you subscribe so that you can always get updated on when these streams go live. And also so you can see some of our other cool content here. I actually did something on Carson Palmer and Andy Dalton. It's pretty interesting. I also have some other stuff coming as well. We also have, I believe, the top 5 running backs in Bengals history coming pretty soon. So stay tuned. But starting off this show, if you notice over here, I believe, I have an autograph, and it's actually an autograph from Tyler Boyd. And I've been meaning to do this for the longest, but a buddy of mine that's actually an NSC fan actually sent me this stuff, so it was pretty cool. His name is Jeremiah, and he's Audio US 757 on Twitter. That's AUDIOUS 757. So make sure you follow him. But I kind of wanted to share some of the autographs that he got from me last week. I truly appreciate it. He grabbed, of all people, Domata Peko. If you guys can see that. Domata. We'll actually be talking about Domata and his comments today on the Bengals. But he got me Domata Peko, Jake Fisher's autograph. I believe that's somewhere in here. Let me grab that real quick for you guys. Jake Fisher's is right here. You guys can see that. Cedric Ogbuehi, Marcus Hardison, Michael Bennett, Rashawn Simonise, excuse me. Chikey Brown, also AJ McCarron number 5 right there. You can see that. And then also Coach Paul Gunther. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's Gunther's right next to his. So pretty cool, man. Truly appreciate you for shooting me these autographs, man. I definitely appreciate it. Being that I'm in Florida, I don't get the chance to hang out and go to the training camps anymore. The last time I think I went to a training camp was actually the year that I moved down to Florida. Well, actually, no, it might have been a year when I was actually back in Cincinnati during the summer. Let me correct that. I believe it was 2010 when we had TO and everything. I definitely was at that camp. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and get into some of the things that we're looking at today. So Domata Peko, right? He came out there and was talking trash. It came out from the Denver media that he basically said that he went to the Denver Broncos to win championships, and all we cared about in Cincinnati was, in a sense, winning a playoff game, which I thought was pretty stupid. Honestly, if you've been following the Bengals the last couple of years, a playoff game is something that they've wanted to get past, but the goal has always been winning a Super Bowl. So it was kind of crazy to me for him to come out of his head sideways talking about, he wants to be a part of a Super Bowl team when he was one of the reasons why we weren't able to even get a playoff win due to his lack of being able to, in a sense, stop the run, and he got pushed back on nearly every play. So I don't really know where a lot of this trash talk is really coming from. And honestly, we were all glad that he actually left because we had a guy waiting in the wings in Andrew Billing. And Peko, although he had a pretty good 2015, 2016, he kind of reverted to his old ways, which we've all known before, and that's what kind of made him a polarizing guy within the Cincy community. But I'm just like, really, bro? Like, really? Of all people, for you to say something like that is just really, really ridiculous. I don't know if the dude's name is Peko, Pico. I don't even know to say your name, but I just know that you got mauled a lot, bro, during a lot of those games that we've had lately. So it's just pretty ridiculous to hear him say something like that. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Like I said, we're going to start doing the live chat and everything. I do have that up now. So if there's anything that you guys want me to touch on, be sure to definitely leave something in the live chat and I'll get to it. And we can go through some of you guys' questions or some of your comments. But what are you guys' thoughts on Peko? Leave that in there. Let me know, because I was really looking at it like, really, bro? Like, you of all people? So, yeah. Just leave your thoughts on that. I just think that it's pretty immature for him to do something like that. And, yeah, you're going to a team like the Broncos that has already won a championship, but you haven't won a championship yourself. So to make a bold statement and stuff like that is just utterly ridiculous, in my opinion. So, yeah, with that being said, we'll just leave that where it is. Now, I'm not sure if anyone's broken the news yet. I'm not really in the whole, just trying to have the breaking news, Adam Schefter kind of thing. But I do have friends and family members back in Cincinnati, and it hasn't been reported yet. And I hope that I'm not, pissing anybody off by reporting this. Honestly, I'm not going to say that it's like an extremely crazy injury or anything like that. But a buddy of mine actually ran into Dre Kirkpatrick lately, and Dre Kirkpatrick is actually injured. He injured his arm. He was spotted with his arm in a sling with a minor cast, but said that he was expected to be ready for the start of the regular season. So I just wanted to forewarn you guys that, there is a possible injury that could be out there with Dre Kirkpatrick. This is a very, very close person of mine that actually saw him in a cast and in a sling. So hopefully it's not anything major. And like he said, it seems like Dre said that he should be ready for the start of the season. But that's pretty interesting because if Dre Kirkpatrick is hurt, then we kind of want to know what we have at the cornerback position, especially with William Jackson coming into his second year. Does that mean that he's going to get more snaps? And that's also a reason why it's good that the Bengals still have a guy like Pac-Man Jones and still have so much depth at corner, like a Darqueze Dennard, because they can easily throw one of those guys in there. It might actually be a good thing, and we'll actually be able to get other guys on there to actually get some game experience in the preseason if Dre isn't able to go. So I think that this could be a good thing. Hopefully it's not anything that's major, and from what I'm hearing, it doesn't seem like it is. But, yeah, that was just kind of a shock to me that would happen. But, I mean, it's OTAs. Things happen. I mean, injuries happen. So not too much of a surprise. But just don't be too surprised when you hear something like that come out, I guess, probably closer to the second set of OTAs, or whether it's reported or not. You might hear somebody saying that he's on the sideline or something of that nature. So, yeah, just wanted to make sure that I kept you guys up to date. But I think, in my opinion, we'll still be good just because we have so much depth at corner. Also, stay tuned for NFC Live next week. I actually was able to lock in Larry Black, so he'll be on next week talking all things about the draft. If you guys don't know Larry, we actually had him on the show about 2 years ago when I first started. It actually wasn't even called New Stripe City then. I think it was Bengals Real Talk. But, yeah, he'll be on next week. We'll be recapping the draft. And for those who remember Larry, he actually appeared on Hard Knocks. He had a foot injury on there. He was actually a part of the Bengals defensive line. So, yeah, man, we're going to have him on, and he's going to give his thoughts. But another major news bite this week was dealing with Vontaze Burfict. And Vontaze Burfict, in my opinion, seems like he has been somewhat underrated by the rest of the NFL and his peers. And to me, it just really doesn't make sense. I was just looking at the NFL Top 100 that came out this week, had Geno listed in the 60s, and, we just didn't see Vontaze Burfict on there. And to me, it just doesn't make sense because if you looked at when the Pro Football Focus ratings came out, Vontaze Burfict was actually the number one guy at his position for the last half of the season. And I just don't understand why he wasn't on there. I don't even think he was on there like the year that he was a Pro Bowler. So, I think that he's vastly underrated by his peers. I think that he has the stigma that he's a quote-unquote dirty player. And, in a sense that kind of impacts and causes people to overlook how he plays on the field. Vontaze Burfict is easily one of the best players on this defense. When you look at it from top to bottom, you got your Geno Atkins, and you'd be hard-pressed to really say that there's anybody better than Vontaze Burfict after that. I mean, you could argue Carlos Dunlap possibly, but, I mean, it really starts with Vontaze Burfict. And you're talking about a guy who had to play with a Domata Peko in front of him, which, in a sense, probably affected him. And I've heard from other places that, he wasn't too fond of playing behind Peko either. But the fact that he'll be able to play with Andrew Billings now, and the fact that he's in the best shape of his life, I mean, that's just a recipe for Vontaze Burfict to have a big year, a contract year or two. I mean, I could really see Vontaze getting extended before the season even starts, and he deserves it. I also think that he deserves to be a captain. You're talking about one of the leaders on this defense. I think on the field, he already has proven that he is one of those leaders, and he is the heart of the Bengals defense. So why not make the guy a captain? I mean, I just don't understand it. He's one of the smartest guys out there on the field. He's always in the right place. Whether he was in shape last year or not, he still was a top linebacker. So now the guy's in shape and well recovered from 2 years of a microfracture injury. I think that the guy should honestly be considered and could have a year as good to be considered for the defensive MVP of the league. And I don't say that just as a homer or anything like that, but it's going to be hard for him to do that because it seems like now the defensive player of the year for the NFL has become somewhat shifted towards the balance of the pass rushers now. It just seems that they kind of always get, in a sense, the critical acclaim for being the defensive player of the year. But hopefully I think Tez can get up there. I think that he's definitely, if you ask my opinion, I think he's a top 5 inside linebacker in the league, even though he plays outside, whatever you want to call it, 4-3 linebacker, let's just call it that. I think that he's a top 4-3 linebacker in the league. I mean, to me, I don't really see too many people that are really better than him. You're talking about a guy that can do it all, whether it's stopping the run, stopping the pass, doing a little bit of coverage, making plays. I mean, you look at the Steelers, and the reason that they hate us so much is because the guy basically took out Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger, everybody. And, I mean, that's the kind of impact that this guy always has on the team. So I think when you look at Vontaze Burfict and him going forward and this year being a contract year, this guy could be in for a huge year this year. So I think that he doesn't get the credit that he deserves, and I think that it's unjust that he doesn't. But hopefully we'll see him get it this year. I think the fact that the Bengals defense will be a lot better this year, especially with Minter coming in. Also, somebody that could possibly take over that Sam spot, whether it's going to be Nick Vigil or whether it's going to be Carl Lawson that they just drafted. That'll be interesting to see. Hopefully things work out and we see Vontaze end up being, like I said, one of those big guys on the defensive player of the year voting list this year. That would be cool to kind of see. Pro Bowl would be cool too, but it would just be nice to see Vontaze actually get credit for and attention for actually his actual skill set instead of, dirty plays and things of that nature. With that being said, if you guys didn't have any questions for me, I probably was going to work on the next episode of Game of Stripes. We actually have some popularity going on with that. For those who don't know, it is the Madden simulated game. And basically, I don't control the game because some people think like, hey, are you controlling these guys? No, I'm not. I'm not controlling them. It's the computer versus the computer. There's no human input whatsoever. I might choose the jerseys or whatever that they play for, that they use in that game, but that's it. But I had a couple of comments on the video. Right now, I think the closest one now is the Texans one. So make sure that you leave some comments there. Or let me know. You can comment now on this live stream and let me know who you guys would like to see next. Most people said the Patriots, Broncos. It's between those two right now, and I think also the Cowboys were in there. Right now, I believe the vote is in the Broncos' favor, but there are some people asking for the Patriots as well, so we'll see how that goes. But, man, with that being said, everything's wrapped up. I don't see any comments or anything, so I'll leave you guys with a who day all day, every day, and especially on Sunday. You guys have a good weekend, and like I said, next week we'll have Larry on. You also can catch our show on Thursdays, which is just me. It's not live. It's going to be an audio-only show. But, yeah, man, make sure you guys subscribe. Check out newstripecity.com. Like us on Facebook. And you guys take it easy.